Hello, and welcome to another game development broadcast for Project CSK. As usual, of course, I am the creator of the project, and the online name that I go by is Des. We're going to continue working on the project today, like we have been doing for quite some time now. And it's starting to slowly come together. If you were here for the last broadcast, you know that I was working on the game rooms, and more specifically on the explosions using the particle systems for the explosives. And there's of course some challenges and whatnot when dealing with these things. And it's important to know that it's you don't always find the solution, or you don't always find the best solution or the appropriate solution right away. Oftentimes you end up thinking about it, and then at a later time you find the solution that either works temporarily and is a temporary solution, or something that's more long-term that you can come back to and implement and build out to more integrated into various parts of your project to make it be more of the appropriate type of solution that you want to move forward with long term. So anyway, in between the last broadcast and this one, I had an opportunity definitely to work on the project. And I want to pretty much just continue from where that is, and we'll move forward right from there. So let's have a look at it and kind of see where is the current state of it, because I vaguely remember, but I don't fully remember. I know I was working on the explosions to get the explosions to take into account the environment. And then from there, I was having some challenges with the collisions and whatnot. And that's something that I'm still going to have to kind of work with. But so right now we're able to move around. And this is, of course, a test environment. So I can place the explosives. And there's some strange behavior here and there. I think it's like a logical or mechanical, or it's logical, but it's a game mechanic type of a flaw that I need to kind of isolate and see where the challenges is coming from, and see what I can do in terms of implementing a solution. Because right now it works, and you can see that it does kind of work, but not really though. Like I shouldn't be able to move through the explosives that I placed down in some scenarios, but in other scenarios I should be able to move through it. So anyway, that'll be something I'll look at a little bit later. For right now, let's jump into a game room. And this is pretty much what I was working on right before. Oh, we just missed the game round. Okay, so let's end this round. This is what I was working on the weekend right before I kind of got pulled away from it. So we'll wait for the next round to start, and then you'll get to see the explosion in all its glory. And it does work, but like I said, there's definitely some things that need to be addressed. Okay, so now I can actually move around, place the explosives, and wait for them to explode. And you can see you get this nice little poof of an explosion. I can't pick up items because that logic is not yet implemented. It's likely one of the next ones that I'll be implementing. So I can't pick up the power-ups either, because if I could, then my explosion would increase significantly. But you can see that it is working, and it's working quite well. It respects the boundaries, so it doesn't go try to go through an object that it can't go through, and you're able to destroy the blocks. And the blocks, of course, drop the pickup items, whatever they may be. Anyway, so that's where it's kind of at right now. The next step I want to do is do the pickup items themselves. So I can pick up these things, because right now I can only walk through them and destroy them. And then hopefully along the way of figuring out the pickup items, I'll come across some of the bugs that I've been coming across periodically, but I haven't been able to isolate exactly what's causing them. And of course, as soon as I'm able to identify exactly what's causing them, then I would be able to address and solve them. So that's something that I definitely want to do. I'm hoping to find these bugs sooner than later, but you know, some of these bugs are, sometimes they're easy to find, sometimes they take a very, very long time to surface, and to be able to identify exactly how to replicate it, and then only then are you able to solve it at that time. So these are interesting challenges that come with this kind of a project. But the next thing, like I said, I want to do is I want to be able to pick up these items. And then one of the other things, of course, I need to do is the destroy animation for the block, because when you destroy them, right, it's supposed to kind of break up into pieces or whatever way that it's going to have an exit animation. And then, of course, for the player characters, what I want to do is when you KO a player, they're supposed to fly off the screen, similar to the other client, the Flash client that we're porting away from. But anyway, I think pickup is next. So let's do pickups, and I haven't seen any crashes. Let's actually double check that and see if there's any crashes. I don't think there should be, because I check this stuff quite regularly, and so far I don't see anything. Nope. Okay, so I think we're good. Okay, so let's do pickups next. Pickups uses a specific logic that I think I should kind of have using the on trigger event for when you enter the trigger collider. I just haven't implemented it yet into these pickup items. So of course, once we implement it into the prefab, all of them will inherit it, and we'll be able to use that. Okay, so it doesn't look like I have implemented it at all here. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Just want to double check to make sure. Usually I comment it out or something if it's supposed to kind of be there but not really be used. There we go. Okay, so there's the old logic. So we're not, of course, going to be using this. We're using a new one that I call 3D. And then this will, of course, have to be public. So we have on trigger enter. And then do we have an exit? I guess not. But let's add an exit. I want to link the code just in case we do want to use it later. So public void on trigger exit. Of course, we're going to change the function name, and you'll see how that's going to work, because the collider isn't on the parent object in this particular case. The trigger is on a child nested object that then rebroadcasts its event, and we're going to link it here via a Unity event, of course. Okay, so really we're going to use the enter, and we're going to leave that one there for later. We're going to use this one. So this was the previous method that I was using. So let's have a look at that and see how does that work. We'll give Unity, of course, a little bit of time to catch up. oops, no, not explosive. We want pickup. It's interesting. This version of Unity, it does crash fairly often, so it's a bit unstable, unfortunately, but it's still good enough. I'll be upgrading to or I'll be updating my Unity application sometime in the near future. I think right now they're at 9F1, but they're going up fast and they're making good progress. So let's see how it's going to go anyway. Okay, so this is where we add the on trigger event should be, so this calls this. Okay, so we should be able to listen in onto this. So the one that we want is on trigger enter. And then we'll go in and we will add that to here. So we'll go pick up item on trigger no, I think I'm missing something here. Where's my function name? Right. Okay. So on trigger exit, on trigger enter, what we want is this. That's why it didn't come up. Okay. So on trigger enter is going to be changed to this. And on trigger exit is going to have the same, but we won't be using that. So that way, when I go to use it, oh right, I have to. It's an error state. So it should be collider, collider, collider. Okay, that should build. Okay, so we'll just wait for Unity just for a little bit for it to catch up again. This new version of Unity, the 2022, it is really slow. If you've used it, like the compile times of when you make modifications and it tries to compile the code and catch up, it is so much slower than the 2021 version. The 2021 version did it in like a fraction of the time. The 2022 version, I'm not saying it's bad, but they really do need to work on that and get that kind of caught up to where the 2021 version was, because it's just not ideal. Because the bigger the project, the slower it gets too. There we go. So we want on trigger enter. Okay, so that should now call our correct function. So it should trigger this on when we walk into an active collider. Okay, so we need to test this. And then what we get is collider. What I want is character model. Can pick up item. Yes. Want the name. Sync position before item pickup. Yes, that's correct. Okay, so then yeah, it should actually work. We're not using that at this time. We may use it later though. Okay, so let's try that and see what happens when we go to pick up an item, because we just modified the prefab. So all objects that instantiate from the prefab, even though they go through the object pool system, should be able to pick up something, or we should get a crash, which either one I'm okay with, but we'll find out very soon. Okay, this round's almost over. We'll find out very soon if it's going to crash or if pickup is going to work. Okay, so let's destroy a block. Okay, let's see what happens. I have no idea what happened there, but let's see. Okay, so it didn't crash. Is our collider active? I wonder. Okay, so let's have a look at our character model. So it looks like our, oh, that's probably why. So that should be tagged differently. Wait, no, that's fine. It's the tag. No, the tag is player character model. Actually, no, we did get it to this point. So we got it to this point, and then what happened? So we got to this point, and then we got the input movement controller, sync position before pickup item, and then pickup item if it equals, oh. Okay, so it's disabled. That's why. Okay, so it was disabled. What is ID? Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that should work. We should be able to send the request to the server, and the server will process it and give us the validation and the results back. So let's try that again. Once I get the main functionality working, I definitely want to add some nice little visual aesthetics, or eye candy, if you want to think of it that way. But I definitely want to do some of that stuff that I was not able to do before when we were working inside of Flash, because Flash didn't have particle effects, Flash didn't have GPU capabilities, or really anything like that. But now that we have them, I really like the particle effect system. I want to mess around with some shaders and maybe some vertex stuff too, and see what kind of cool stuff we can do that would be appropriate for this kind of a game, of course. I don't want to do something that doesn't quite meet kind of the overall aesthetics of the game. All right, so let's destroy a block. Let's see what happens when we go to pick it up. Okay, so inventory. So we moved over it, got to that point. Let's have a look at our network traffic. Oh, okay. So that was wrong. We did send. So we sent to the server. We did send to the server, but the server didn't like that. Okay, so the server didn't like that ID that we sent it. So this was the wrong ID. It failed validation. So what is the right ID to send then, if that is not it? Okay, so when we get to this point, what ID do we store? That's a good question. When we create the pickup item, what do we store? So when we go game room, where is the remove, add pickup objects? Okay, so what we want likely is the unique ID. Okay, so where does the UID get stored? We got UID coming in here. And then it gets changed to key ID. Key ID is, oh, that's what's happening. So we're not storing it. So we need to store the unique ID and then use that. Because right now, when we're just calling ID, does this have an ID? Yeah, okay. So that's what we're calling, but it's empty. So if we set that to key ID, because it's a multi-purpose ID, which is the unique ID, that should solve it. So now we should be sending the correct value. Okay, let's try that. Let's see what the server thinks of that. Because it is a multiplayer game, right? You're playing it like visually from the end user point of view. It looks like you're playing it on the client, but in actuality, the game is being played entirely on the server. Oops. The client does not do much else other than just serve as a means of presenting information, of course, and getting input from the user, meaning what action do you want to perform, right? And for every action that the user goes to perform, that information is sent over a TCP/IP socket binary connection to the server. The server takes that information, parses it, it validates it, and then once it's valid, it goes, okay, then I can use this. It takes it, processes it, and then it makes whatever types of functionality changes or effects or whatever types of results, should I say, not effects, but whatever that results in, it'll process it on the server side and then sync any clients that need to be synced, including the initial user that sent that request. So, and then the Unity client in this case would then take that information sent to it from the server and process that. And that is kind of what's happening. Interesting. What happened this time? Did I forget to save those changes I just made? Okay, let's get rid of these. Oops. So I want to see the send and the receive. We'll go with the network stuff. Okay, so we sent the request to pick up item. Which one is that? Okay, so RGIP is our pickup item request. Where is RGIP? Right here. So we sent that. And then position, 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 and then GAPO. What is GAPO? Nope, that's on the in. Game add pickup. Oh, add pickup object. Okay, so we didn't get a reply back. Interesting. I was pretty sure the server is going to give us a response back. The server didn't say anything about this one failing, so I'm not sure. Let's enable this, and let's try that again. So this time, let's monitor both the old client and the new client and see if they both get the same results. So place the explosive, it goes off. We get 2 pickup items. I'm going to pick up the bag. Okay, so that is not picking up. And the server's not saying anything as far as I can see. So I'm not sure what happened, because we should have gotten a response back from the server saying either success or failure or something. I don't know. I keep forgetting the packet header names. There's so many of them. Okay, so we send the request to pick it up. It is RGIP. So RGIP right here. Interesting. The server didn't say anything. And it didn't sync with the other clients either. So I'm going to assume, I mean, there was no visual change with the other clients. So I'm going to assume that it failed to pick up. Because when a Flash client picks it up, it is working. Yeah, so we should have seen GRPO. I think. Yeah, so we should have seen GRPO when we send that request to the server. So if we're not getting GRPO, then that means it's not being picked up. But the server is not saying anything, so I wonder. Warning, string message in wrong format. Okay. Okay, I wonder if we retry, if we'll get a different result. I'm just curious what happens. Thing is that it's not crashing. Neither the client or the server are crashing. Okay, no pickup items there. Okay, so we have the pickup item. Let's see what happens when we... wait, this already triggered. We weren't even close to it, and it already triggered? How did that work? I think maybe the hitbox might be a bit too big. Having difficulties reading this. I'm not used to it. It's been a while since I read a large volume of these kinds of packets. But so what we should have sent, though, is GRIP, unique ID 869. So we did send that. Interesting. Let's make it a bit easier for us to read. So right here, what I'll do is I'll use, I'll add it to my custom logger. So right before we send that, so we'll say pickup item unique ID, and then I'll pass in the ID as well. We'll make this of type game engine, and then we want to make it really stand out. So let's change the color on that, and we'll change it to a 2. So it should come out green, and we'll get a nice stack dump. That way we'll know exactly where it is, and immediately after this one is when we should be sending it to the server, and then we should get a return. So it'll just make it easier to read through that. Let's just do that. That'll just make it so much easier to read. And you can also, if you're not familiar with it, you can also color code the console output here, similar to HTML color tags. So it's very easy. You can have as many colors as you want, even in a single line. You can have rainbow colors if you really want to. But I find that it just helps to color code everything. That way, it just makes it more easy to at a glance identify something. Like I usually have my errors or something that's critical in red. Green is important information, and then I also have a kind of information but not that important being like a white, and then I have a gray color for just log this. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Okay, and we go pick up. Okay, so we see this here, but then let's see what happens here. And there it is right there. So we send the request for item pickup, but we don't get a return. We send it more than once? No, we send it once. It's just duplicate information. Let's, we'll leave game engine. Okay. So we send the request. We send position, of course, first, just so the server knows exactly where our position is, because it's going to use it to validate. Then we send, but we don't get anything back. There's no receiving. It's only sending. So that leads me to believe that it either A, failed, or, oh, that's right. It's the collider. It's the collider. I totally forgot. The collider is too big. So we need to go and adjust our trigger collider and our pickup item collider need to be the correct sizes. I completely forgot about that. So that's what's failing, and the server's not going to notify us of that. Otherwise, it would just be it would just have too many log files on the server. So I do try to optimize it so it doesn't have that many log entries. But I remember, okay, so we need to, so it is working. It's just that the distance between us and the item that we're picking up is too great, so it fails validation on the server side. We need to be close enough to for the server to accept it on validation, give it the okay, and then apply the pickup item to our character and then synchronize that information to everyone in the game room. So how do we do that? That's a good question. For that, we will need to go and have a look at the old code. Where is it? To reference it. Because I vaguely remember, but I don't actually remember. So I can either look at the client code or look at the server code, and I think it's probably easier to just have a look at the client code. So while we wait for that to load, what we do know is that we need to adjust the size of our collider for the pickup item itself. So we'll say pickup. So our trigger collider, this is what we need to adjust. This is too big. So this will need to come down to be likely something like 0.2. So this will need to come down to about 0.2. So about half the size of what it was. And the player collider will also need to be taken into consideration. So let's have a look at that and see if I can even find that code, because it was so long ago. Let's follow it backwards actually on the out, because I think that will be easier to follow it backward instead of trying to remember where it was. So from the time of packet sent, nope, wrong one. I know, really old code. You'll have to forgive me. This code is over a decade old now. So yeah, it's, I don't even remember the shortcuts. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go, that's the right one. Okay, so we call it from here. Let's follow this one back to, I think here. Nope, wrong one. I think we need to follow this. This should do the check. I just want to see what the collider sizes are. I know they're hard-coded, so we'll have to kind of track it down. Okay, so that's not it, because that's, looks like warp tiles. So does this one though. I don't know, I kind of feel like this should be it. But I don't see the calculation. Check collision pickup, okay. Offset. That's fine. Collision's active. That's nothing. Warp tile. But where's the actual check though? Check collision pickup. I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay, and that's our actual okay. It has to be one of these. So they look the same. This one's check pickup items. This one is also check pickup items. Why do we have two? Oh, okay. One of them is library. One of them is source. Okay. I see. Okay. So they're both pretty much the same. I totally forgot about that. It's been so long since I looked at this code. So I think we want to look at library, if I'm not mistaken. So let's close the source one, and we'll look at library. Okay, so this has to be it then. Is warp tile, but where's the actual check? Check pickup items. I think this is after. So if we go back, Let's just keep going back and see where it takes us. What's this here? Okay, so that's not it. Check collision. That sounds promising. Let's go have a look at that. Oh yeah, no, that's just collision. Don't want collision. I honestly don't remember. It's been so long. I know it's buried somewhere in the code. I just don't know where. It's been so long since I looked at that. Is there something here about... Okay, so tile radius. Character model radius. Okay, so we're at 15. Okay, so the model is at 15. Okay. So model's at 15. What about item? What about pickup item? Actually, let's see where this is used. Because this would be checked against an item, right? In theory. Check collision world item pickup. Oh, okay. So then the item has the tile radius, which would be 20. Okay. Okay, so 20 and 15. Okay, that's what we're looking for. 20 and 15. So if... So then that's right for this. This is 20. But then we need to bring down our character model down to a 15. So that'd be 0.15. Okay, let's do that. So we'll go to, because we've done this. So the next one would be the player character model, wherever that is. Where did I have that? I completely forgot. Models, character model, there we go. Okay, so character model, where is your trigger? Rigid body, nope. Where's your pickup collider? Okay, so that's the aggro radius. That's not what I was looking for. Capsule collider and So we got effects. We don't want effects. Model container, no. Aggro circle collider, no, definitely not that. We want the pickup. I think that's it. Okay, so that will activate when it's appropriate. It looks like we have a rigid body and we got a... But this is not what I was thinking. No, that's definitely not it. That's a 2D collider. That won't work for us. Is this even used? I wonder, because this looks old. And it was disabled, so I'm not sure if this would be used. Let's check. What are we colliding against? What are we colliding against is the question. This will just make it a little bit easier for us to see what are we colliding against, because I'm just taking a guess here. I want to make sure that it's the right one, and if it's not the right one, then we need to make the appropriate corrections to make sure that it is the right one. So let's see, what do we collide against? Okay, we will log in. Okay, let's just end that round. And then I'm just looking down here for the whatever that collider is. So we need to destroy a block. That'll drop an item, and then we need to just walk over to it. And that way I'll be able to see what is colliding. And I have a feeling it's not the right object that's being used for collider. Okay. It is colliding against the main object. Okay. So it's using the capsule collider. And this has a radius of 0.2, and I can't, well, it's not that I can't, I'm not sure if I should be modifying this. I think realistically we should have a separate collider on the character model that's used purely for pickups. That way we can adjust the size of it appropriately and not have it affect anything else. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Because the capsule collider is used to collide with the environment. Alternatively, what I can do is bring down the size of the collider of the pickup item, so then I can leave the capsule collider as is. I could do that, actually. That might work. Because then we could use the same collider. So then if we were to scale it up or down, the collider would scale in proportion. Let's try that, actually. So this one has a radius of 0.2, so it's only off by 0.05. So let's go back into the pickup. And then we'll adjust this from being 0.2. We'll adjust this to be, so one was 0.2, one was 0.15. Yeah, so what we're doing is changing it to this one being 0.15 instead of the model being 0.15 in radius. And yeah, so we're just swapping them out. So the model will continue to have the same size collider, while the collider of the pickup item will be slightly smaller, and it should result in the same thing as far as the server is concerned, because the numbers are going to be the same. All we're doing is alternating which one is the bigger one. So let's try that and see. I just don't know how the rounding is going to work if it's an exact value. We might have to make it a tiny bit smaller for the pickup item. Okay, so we'll just wait for the next round, and then we'll see how it goes. For those of you that are just coming in, hello and welcome. Feel free to say hi. I don't mind. I'd prefer you to say hi, but if you want to just sit back and relax and watch me work on the project, that's perfectly fine too. I do work on the project periodically, actually quite regularly on the bottom right. On Tuesdays, on Fridays, I broadcast it. Okay, so let's see what happens here. And yeah, I think we need to make it a bit smaller. So I do work on the project quite regularly. I do this as something as a hobby on my spare time, and it's something that is really fun for me to do, and it's something that I use to learn, of course, and just experiment with Unity, just and development and all that stuff, because I don't do this in my regular, just day-to-day life unless I make time to do something like this, which is a hobby. And if you've played the old client, you'll know that I'm porting away this from the old Flash client. This is going to be the new Unity cross-platform client, and it'll run on pretty much anything that Unity can export to, as long as it meets the minimum system requirements. And it should work well on mobile devices and pretty much anything. So touchscreen, mouse, keyboard, and gamepad will be supported. So I'm really looking forward to getting this version up and running. And once we get a little bit farther into this, I'll be able to shift my focus probably to some more artwork first, and then move on to the world with the pet combat system and everything. But this is going to be an ongoing project for a very long time. However, it will be somewhat playable, hopefully sooner than later. Okay, so let's see. Do we pick up? There we go. Yes. We picked up an item. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so I'll need to modify the numbers a little bit, but where's our item pickup? Right here. Whoops. So let's have a look at that. We'll need game engine, net. We'll take out SFS and event manager. Did I just do it the opposite? I think I did. Nope. Okay, so we want that. We don't want GUI. We don't want SFS, and we don't want event manager. Oh, we went by it already. Okay, so this is us sending the request to pick up the item, and then this is us getting the successful reply back from the server right here. So that's the server telling us it's verified it, unique ID 1145, and it's telling us that it was picked up and then by the user, by the session of this user. So that way we can apply any particle effects or any type of other effects later on, which I definitely plan on doing. So that's great. So now we have pickup item, but the UI didn't illustrate it. It's supposed to illustrate. So when you pick something up, it's supposed to illustrate. And we're getting that weird anomaly again. So now my explosions are getting stronger, right? So you'll see the range to be much bigger. This is probably a better representation of range. So you can see the explosion range is much bigger now. Oh, that was strange. So if I... not sure what happened there. Put one here, put one here. Now there's definitely some anomalies going on. Like you can see the items blinking. The pickup items that come in, some of them blink, some of them don't. That's not intentional. That weird kind of a darker blink thing that it does, I don't understand why, but it does do that. Yeah, you can see some of them do it, but some of them don't, which is very strange. Okay, but at least now we got pickups working. So pickup is working, but it should display here what you have in terms of pickups, or maybe it's the UI. Let's have a, nope, not, wait, loading screen. Why does it have that? Interesting. That's definitely not intentional. Nothing is supposed to be parented under loading screen. That stuff is supposed to go into game room. And then in the object pool system, is where it's supposed to go. But somehow it's ending up under loading scene. Very strange. Okay, I'll take a look at that a little bit later. I didn't even know that was a thing, so apparently it is. So we go into GUI, and then we'll go from GUI to our HUD. And then where's our... Oh. Did I not add it? That may be it. That's why it's not showing. Because it's supposed to be a part of the HUD. I think that's what happened. Is I didn't add it. Okay, let me open up the other Unity client and have a look at it and see kind of okay, so I'll need to open up the old client. Hopefully it doesn't crash, because this version of Unity, it doesn't really like it when you open up more than one client at the same time. So if you have two Unity instances open, it doesn't really like that. But let's see how it goes. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to load, what I want is, I want the HUD information to be displayed correctly. I'll likely need to bring some stuff in. I'll need to look at these weird anomalies and try to identify why they're happening. I find it strange though that, so there's no errors, there's no crashes, but you see that weird dark flicker on some of the pickup items when they appear and they're doing their animation thing. I find that very strange. And I don't know why it would do that. Because either all of them should be doing it or none of them should be doing it. But I'm not implementing, or I have not implemented any code that would do that flicker. It's all transform and scale modifications. So let's see if we can find one that'll do it. Nope. Okay, we'll just keep destroying. That was weird. Because it looked like I placed it in one place, but it ended up going to another. Okay, so we saw one of them flicker. It was the boots. So let's see if we can kind of identify what's going on there. Should get another batch of items coming up real soon. Okay, one of them did it. Maybe it's the same one because it goes through the object pool system. Maybe it's the same one that flickers for whatever reason. There was a bit of a stutter there. Okay, so let's see what happens. So we should get one that does it. Nope, nothing. Maybe that one is still in the object pool. Let's see if it comes up. So only one of them are doing it, or one did it before that I saw. Nope. I wonder what would cause it though. None of them are doing it now. Maybe I just need to destroy it. Maybe that's what's happening. That was weird. That bomb moved. I find that kind of strange. Okay, so none of them are doing it now. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Why would it flicker sometimes but not other times? I don't quite get that. Maybe it's a rendering thing, or maybe I'm doing something. I'm not really sure. But either way, I think it's in terms of a game, the mechanics are starting to come together, and it looks pretty good. I do find it strange that sometimes the bomb moves, which I don't understand. Because if you place it and you move, yeah, see, the bomb moved. Okay, two of them flickered that time. So one was here, and I saw that. So it was maybe because I was picking it up. So I was moving while it was animating. Would that be it? So if I was moving and it appears and I pick it up, so that time it didn't happen. Let's see if we can catch that in the action. So I'll just move left and right and see. Hopefully one of them will come up and I'll pick it up as it appears. and see if maybe that's what's causing it. Okay, so that one definitely did it. So maybe that's it, is that it's the interruption of the animation is what's causing that. Yeah, okay. So that's what's happening. It's the interruption of the animation causes that flicker. I was not aware of that, but okay, so now I know that it's doing that. So if I interrupt it, the animation before it's completed, it will cause a flicker. Yeah, okay. That's what's happening. Okay, that's good. So then I know what's causing it. Now it's a matter of solving it. But that's to me is minor. As long as I know about it, I'll fix it. But what I'm more interested in is the UI, the HUD. So I opened this one up. Let me snap that into position and we'll move on to it. Okay, so this is the HUD. This is what we should be seeing. So I got clock up here for the countdown clock. We got our popsicles, our shields, and our blocks. So I think what happened is that I didn't bring this in. That's why it doesn't exist. So let's have a look at it and see what's going on. So under GUI, we should have HUD. Under HUD, we should have usable items, and we don't have it. Okay. So we need usable items, and we need time clock. Okay, so we're missing those. I do want to bring those in and get them implemented because they're rather important. Oh, and we're also missing the other one, which is the, I think, ammo or whatever it's called. Ammunition, for lack of a better term. So ammunition is how many bombs you have that you can use, right? And that goes in the bottom middle area. So it'll go 1 all the way up to 4, I believe is the maximum you can carry at one time. You can't exceed 4. 4 is the size max because it's a very small environment. So it kind of makes sense that there should be a limit. Otherwise, the explosions just get a little bit too out of control. And even though as it is, it already gets to be pretty intense. Because when there's only 1 or 2 people, the level is smaller, right? Sorry, 2 people. You can't play with 1 person. 2 people, the level is small, right? But the level scales up ever so slightly for however many number of users, and the server determines that, the server generates it, and the server synchronizes a new level every round at the start of every round, right? So when you have only 2 players, maximum 4 bombs each, that means you can have 8 explosives at one time. But you can have a total of 8 players, right? So 8 times 4, right? That's a lot of explosives that can be on the stage at one time. That's a lot, right? So yeah, it gets very, very intense, and that's why it's such an enjoyable type of game. And it's like, it's not for everybody, let's be honest. Not everyone likes that kind of in your face, fast paced strategic action, because it's like, the way that I explain it is, it's like playing chess. It's like playing real-time chess, because you need to be on your feet, you need to think, you need to stop when you need to stop, and you need to move when you need to move, and you need to prioritize and go for the priorities in terms of your objectives. Pickup items are important, but not at the cost of you getting knocked out. So it's really a delicate balance to try to figure these things out. But that's what makes it interesting, though, especially when you get like really good players in a room, and everybody is just, oh, it gets really intense. I used to be really good, right? My skills are, to be honest, not that great anymore, just because I don't play as much, and many users have just gotten better and better over time. I haven't been staying up to date with my skills, but yeah, I kind of get destroyed in the game rooms when there's high skilled players, and of course latency plays a factor, right? Because when it's real time, latency is such a huge factor that the faster that you can send a packet and receive a packet can determine if you can pick up an item or if you can dodge something, meaning get away from a hazardous scenario where you might get knocked out. That I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything to change latency on the internet, so it varies from user location to location. So depending on your geographical location, you'll get different ping. So a full round trip of information going from the client to the server to back. But latency matters less when you're playing in the world with your pets, which is definitely something that I also really enjoy, because it's something that I find it's really nice contrast to have, right? Because on one side, you got very fast pace with within a game room playing like a Bomberman type of gameplay, whether it's everyone for themselves or if it's teams, right? Blue team versus red team. But then when you're in the world, it's very casual. It's very relaxed. You're just sitting back and just relaxing, like a traditional old school like RPG. It kind of feel is kind of, not exactly, but to kind of to that degree, but it's multiplayer, right? And then when you add touchscreen and gamepad support, where you're removing the need for a computer desktop, right? It just adds so much more enjoyment. Like the prototypes that I let some of the users play, I take those, like I have them installed on my super cheapo Android tablet, right? And I have my Xbox controller connected over Wi-Fi to it, and I take it to sometimes at night when I'm about to go to bed, or sometimes in the morning when I'm having breakfast or something, I'll just jump into it. Like, it doesn't have much functionality, but the exploration, the usage of the UI, it helps me understand the trajectory and helps me stay on course in terms of the trajectory moving forward. So then when we start bringing more of this functionality into the actual game, I know what the users are going to be experiencing because I'm experiencing it firsthand, and I'm catering this experience to try and make it an enjoyable one, and a really good one at that is what I'm going for. And to be able to detach yourself from a computer or a laptop to be able to play, and you can play it on, let's say, your mobile phone, or you can sideload it to like an Android TV, or you could play it on your Steam Deck, or you can play it on whatever, right? Like for me, I also have the attachment piece. Let me just show you real quick. I have the Xbox attachment piece, right? So this is an official Xbox attachment piece. It's really good because it has pivot points. So it has 2 points of pivot so you can get the right camera angle. And I find that it helps. It's a bit awkward in terms of holding it because the phone is heavy. So it ends up being top heavy. But in terms of enjoyment, you will not get a better controller than an Xbox or an official PlayStation controller. It's just really difficult to find, right? Especially at that cost. But what you can get is those telescopic controllers, like the, what's it called? Where are we? So let's go to, and this is some that I've been meaning to test, is a telescopic controller. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of these. Most of them are not great. These ones, you get what you pay for, of course. So these super cheap ones are, of course, very cheap for a reason, just because they're of lesser quality. But then there's the higher quality ones. So the Razer Kishi is probably the better ones for Android. And then there's a whole bunch of them. But if I was to go with one personally, I would go with probably the Razer Kishi. I believe there was a version 2 that came out not too long ago. So this one, nope, where did it go? This one here. So this one is pretty good. It kind of makes it look like a, what's a good picture? So it kind of looks like the Steam Deck, but it's your phone, right? So it makes your phone into a mobile gaming controller. It doesn't support Bluetooth, but this allows you to just have better controls on your phone. And I definitely plan on testing it like this later on, of course. But this just adds to like more options, more ways of how you can enjoy it. And I think options are good. I really like options personally. And yeah, that's the direction that I want to go, is to try to reach as many devices as realistically possible. So it'll support Android, iOS, Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, and then touchscreen, mouse, keyboard, and gamepad, all of it. So then really the only thing you need is the minimum system requirements. That I don't really know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be very high, because if I can run this game on my low-end Android tablet, which doesn't have a great CPU or GPU, then any modern mid-tier or lower mid-tier, so not even like full mid-tier, but lower mid-tier and higher, will definitely be able to run the game at full 60 frames per second. And then, of course, the high-end stuff, you don't even need to worry about it at that point, because then it doesn't even really matter at that point, because you'll be well above. Like in terms of phones, I'm using a 2018 mid-tier phone. That's my main phone that I use. And I'm planning on changing the operating system to Lineage OS, because I haven't been getting updates on it in quite a while. And I really dislike bloatware, and I dislike the ability that you can't uninstall stock apps that serve no purpose other than to just collect user information and drain your battery a little bit. I don't like those. I want to be able to just remove them. And with Lineage OS, of course, it does void your warranty on some phone manufacturers. But once your phone's about 2 years old, it doesn't even matter at that point, right? Because you've already exceeded your what do you call it? I forget the name of it, but your warranty. So your warranty already doesn't exist at that point. So why not extend the life of it by updating the operating system yourself? And only if you're comfortable, because you can, of course, brick your phone, which nobody wants to do, of course, because that's no fun. But yeah, so that is what I'm planning on doing to my personal phone, because I do that to every single one of them at some point. It's just this one I haven't got around to it. And I'm really liking the new versions of Android coming out, because they really do improve battery life, performance, stability, all of that. And you get more finite control when you install Lineage OS, because you get root level access, right? You can uninstall core. I'm not saying you would intentionally, but you can uninstall core system functionality and just destroy your operating system to the point where it's not usable and you need to reflash the operating system. But I like that level of control, meaning it's at your discretion. I don't like all this bloatware. I don't like these applications. I like to use the applications that I like to use. And if there's something that I don't like to use, or something that I don't even want to see, I don't want it to be there. I don't want to hide it. I want to just completely remove it. That's what I want. So, and I've been using Lineage OS before too, when it was called CyanogenMod, or however you want to pronounce that. I've been using it since way back in the day, and I've always liked it for that functionality and for what it offers. It's really good. I might even make a video about it, but I know I say that and I end up not making any videos because I end up just not having the time to do it. That happens often. But I mean, it is what it is, right? Yeah. So, but that's just me, of course. I like that kind of stuff. I guess I can hide this. I really need to add that button to my touch portal so then I can just instead of because I'm doing it manually every time. I have to reach over to OBS and just disable that. I do have space. I just haven't got around to it. I should utilize my touch portal a bit better. It's just finding time is really difficult. Time and, let's be honest, motivation and time. The two go hand in hand. But motivation is something that comes and goes, and it's something I've said many times before. Discipline is better than motivation, hands down. Motivation is unreliable at best. It's nice when it's there, but when it's not there, if you're relying on it, then you're going to get nothing done, and you're just going to procrastinate instead of doing what needs to be done. So motivation is great to have, but discipline and dedication and just discipline, dedication, and there's another word that I can't think of right now. Pretty much same thing, really. Discipline, commitment, discipline, dedication, and commitment. Yeah. Those are the things that really get things done. Okay, so what am I doing here? I want to see if I have the HUD classes, and I don't have them. So what I need is HUD. Where are these though? They're inside of GUI. Okay, so that's good. So they're inside of GUI, then that means what I need is HUD usable item. So let's bring that in. Are we on the right? Yes, we are. So HUD usable item, and then we want HUD time clock, and then we want the ammo one, which I'll do later. But let's just have a look at this just to see. Let's get these up and running first, and then we'll do the other ones afterward. Let's go with usable item first. Okay, so this looks about right. It's just a matter of making the prefab. Wait, do all of them use usable item? How do I differentiate between them? I don't get it. How do I differentiate between what the item is? Oh, I see. Okay. So I hard code it, the item ID to display. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I should have probably done an enum and done a drop-down menu of some sort, but item ID works too. It's actually probably easier, but a drop-down menu would just make it a bit more user-friendly. And that way you don't have to know what the item IDs are. I think I might do that. I like the drop-down menus using the enum system, or using the enum. Okay. So then let's go back into the, so then all of them are the same prefab. So what we need is, we need the icon, we need the background, Text Mesh Pro we already have, Animation Property Curve, I know we already have that. Are we even actually using it? We're not using it, but it's there. Wait, are we not using it? I thought we were. Yes, we are. Oh, okay. I see. So it's applied in the wrong location. It should be in the prefab, but that's okay. Okay, so we are using Animation Property Group. So our classes are there. It's just a matter of bringing in the object. Wait, what? No, I don't want to update. Thank you. Okay, then. So it's just a matter of bringing this in. And where is this? It's inside prefab GUI. Okay, so let's go to prefab GUI. And then bring the item in. It'll likely be broken, kind of, but I'll get it working. So it was called HUD usable item. Yeah, okay. So this one is HUD usable item. That's fine. And then this one is animation property curve, my custom class. Okay. So then now I should be able to save. Yeah, okay. So that works. Why is it scaled like that? Oh, no, never mind. It's on a... No, it's fine. Okay. So that looks good so far. Where's this? Okay, so I'll need to change these over to the... Okay, the shield I need to change over. Yeah, I'll need to change those over, but for the most part, I think this is okay. Oh, right, I need to put it on the right layer, of course. Let's go to layer, and we will go to UI. Do you want to set the layer UI for all child objects as well? Yes, I do. Please. Okay, so that should be changed to UI. Layer additional settings. I don't know what is this for. I don't think that matters. Oh, for sorting. Yes, 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 absolutely, that matters. Okay. So we go here for sorting. That definitely matters. And then the icon for sorting. Okay. Yeah, because we want one to be on top of the other, and we want to have granular control over that. Okay, so let's change this default icon to that nice shield icon that we have. I believe it was inside of, let's lock that. I believe it was inside of our items, maybe? Pickup items? Yeah. So it's pickup item. Let's unlock this. Pickup item 04. I just want to change the default just to see kind of what it looks like. pickup item 04. And there we go. So there's our default pickup item. That looks pretty good, actually. Okay, so we need to also bring in the animation property curve. The good thing about that is you can copy and paste it across clients, which is nice. So I'm just going to grab that and right click and say copy. It's going to come out a little messed up, but we're going to paste it here. So we're modifying two properties. And then what is our target? So we have intro and we have exits. I'll do intro first. Our target is the our target is the parent. Okay, so it's the parent object. Okay. And this is the animation, of course. If you're not familiar with this, this is the animation curve component. It's a part of Unity. It's really good. So I just basically wrapped my own custom class around it just because that's such an awesome component. Okay, so that's our intro. And then the exit, what's the exit? Exit is, oh, it's nothing. We're not using it. Literally, we're not using it. So let's remove this. Just so there's no misunderstanding. Okay, so all prefabs will inherit this. So what we need to do then is, I want to make that text look pixel too. I don't want like fine text next to pixel art. It just doesn't look that great. But now that we have this though, what we can do is we can rebuild usable items. So right under HUD, oh, I keep forgetting the shortcuts. And that's the wrong one. Okay, so let's go into HUD. So at this level, the transform is fine. Position wise, it's going to be 3.98 by 1.49. Okay, and then that is going to have 3 of those prefabs of usable item. Yeah. So there's one. So this one, we will call this one usable item shield. Okay. So there's going to be 3 of them total. So let's move this one down a little bit, I think. What are the positions for the other ones? It is down a little bit. So the top one is shield. So on the Y position, that's the Y position. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and what I'll do is I will set this to being item ID number 4. Oh, we didn't set those. Okay, let's go back into it. We need to set these references. So we need to set icon. We need to set background and text. Okay. Icon, background, text. ID number 4, that's correct. Okay, and then we'll just hit Control D, and just duplicate it. So first one is shield. The next one is going to be popsicle. And then the one after that is going to, of course, be the block. Okay, so popsicle has an offset of 0. Interesting. Yeah, it's too high. I want to bring that down, but we'll adjust it shortly. And then block has an offset of, okay. Actually, what we'll do is we'll move this parent object down on the Y. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So to about there for now. Okay, and then we'll go change the icons to be their appropriate icons. So this one is going to be icon. Oh, sorry, this one is the correct icon. We're going to change the popsicle one to being the popsicle icon, whichever one that is. That's the one. Okay. And then the next one is going to be the block, of course. Okay. So there's our usable items. Now, whether it's going to work or not, that we're going to have to find out. So let's go ahead and test it out and see what does that look like. So they should reset at the beginning. And then when we go and pick them up, okay, next round is about to start. So then after this one, what I'll do is next one will be the clock. Actually, do we have time for, oh wow, look at that time go. Okay. Well, let's do just what we can for now. All right, so let's go pick up an item. Okay, this is not the item. I need one of the usable items. Nope, still no. Nope, nope, nope. There we go. So shield. Oh, whoops. I forgot to set the IDs. So you see all of them picked up on shield. That's obviously not correct. So I did forget, but it is working, and that was a nice animation too. I liked it. So all of them are set to 444, which is not correct. So it should be shield is 4, popsicle is 8, and then block is 9. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it works though, because we just seen it work. So when you have no items, it disappears. And then when you pick up an item, it does this bouncy thing, which I think looks really appropriate. To kind of get your attention, but not overwhelmingly get your attention. So then you know you've obtained a usable pickup item. And I think that's definitely a helpful indicator for the user. Okay, there we go. So we got a shield. We can't use them yet, but we will. So we got shield. Oh, That bomb was invisible. I thought I didn't put one down, but okay. Oh, it's this bug again. Interesting. So as soon as I place it down, it disappears, but it's then still explodes afterward, right? Huh. Okay. So that still exists. I need to find out how that happens. But in terms of pickup items, this is working well. So every time you pick one up, the icon here, if it appears, that means you have at least one, and then it'll keep counting upward. I think you can hold maximum of 9 or something. I don't remember what the max is. Okay, so I would say that's definitely working. So the next one is I need to add the clock. So you can see in terms of time-wise, the clock counting down, because right now there's about a minute left. And the closer you get to the 0, the more power-ups appear. Been collecting quite a bit. You should get more and more power-ups now, a lot more. Okay, and that's it. Okay, well, I would say that's a success in terms of illustrating the pickup items or the usable pickup items and being able to pick up the normal items. That's definitely good. However, time is not on my side today. And I know if I start the next thing, I'm not going to stop. So I think this is as good a time as any. The next thing that I need to do is, of course, fix some of those weird anomalies. I need to find out why the explosive does that at times. We do know that the animation does that flicker. Maybe they're related. I don't know. But the animation does that flicker when you interrupt it. So that means that because it's similar, it might be that the explosive does the same. So if you explode a explosive right in its animation, meaning you're interrupting its animation, that could be what's causing it. It would kind of make sense because it seems like they're similar. It's an animation thing, right? So I need to figure that out. I kind of know where to start with that. We need to bring in the clock. So the clock is, of course, let me show you this countdown clock here. So this one that you see right here in the top, that's your countdown clock right there. So we need to bring that in. That'll probably go in a similar location in the top middle or top right. I don't know. Probably top middle. I think that makes sense. That way the menu can go over it, but because it's semi-transparent, you can see through it. And then the explosives at the bottom to show you how much ammo or how much carrying capacity you have. And then when you use them, they go down. And then when they fill up, they go upward. So those are some of the next things that I'd like to work on. Of course, the artwork and environment and all that stuff is also not yet completed, but so far I would say it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'd say it looks pretty good. Okay, but I think that's going to be it for me today. So for those of you that are watching, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, got some entertainment, or maybe even some education value out of it. If you want to show your support, you can absolutely do so by just hitting that like button, that follow button, and come hang out next time. Next broadcast will be on Friday. If you want to know when I broadcast, it's Tuesdays and Fridays. My schedule is on Twitch, and I also broadcast at the same time simultaneously on YouTube. You can watch it on whichever site you like. And I do mention on Discord, Twitter, and Instagram when I go live or when there's new updates or dev journal entries, which I do make periodically, of things that I believe are of importance. So if you do happen to miss a broadcast, you can always watch the archived ones on YouTube. If you want to just kind of be up to speed once in a while, you can just read the dev journals that are on the forum. And if you want to play, well, we got an event coming up pretty soon on the 26th. We're going to be playing on the old Flash client, so this client that you see here. And there's going to be a bunch of us playing in the game rooms and in the world likely as well. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be very difficult. So if you're going to come and play, bring your A game, because you're going to be playing against pretty much the top players. But that's what makes it fun. So anyway, that's going to be it for me today. So thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next time.